Alright, so this is a video for Mike. This is your new jukebox, buddy. This is the Seeburg Sunstar, going all the way to Newfoundland. So I figured I'd just go over a couple of things so that when you get it, you're not totally bewildered with all of its features and, just so you kind of know how it works and how to look after it and stuff. So without further ado here, let's get right into it. So this is the title tray here at the top. This is kind of the door that you would use to get into the jukebox. Normally it would have a set of keys that would lock it here. A lot of times what will happen is when an operator gets rid of a jukebox, they'll disable the locks and they'll remove the coin box. In your case, I still do have the door for the coin box. It comes with it, so you'll get the door. But the lock for the door on the coin box is gone, and the lock for the actual lid has been disabled. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, in a home environment, it's actually kind of easier. So I'll show you how to get into this thing. It's pretty straightforward. It looks like it's all sealed up. Well, all you got to do is grab it by the front here. It's probably easier with two hands, but give it a little yank. And she slides out. You'll see there's some rolly things that are there. And you kind of roll it to halfway, at which point you can flip it up. And it should slide. I'm going to do this with one hand. It might be a little difficult, but there we go. So roll it up and you can slide it back and you're in the jukebox. So this is what's inside of the jukebox. That's where the records go. I'll show you how that kind of works. So when you're loading this thing up with records, there's obviously the title cards go in this tray here, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But when you're loading it, these numbers here correspond with the record as it sits in the title tray, which I might as well open up for you now. So I'll show you how to get in there. There's little clips. Now these are very old and brittle, so yes, Nacho, these clips are very old and brittle, so you got to be a little careful. I might put my little phone camera thing down here for a second while I do this. I'll get one undone, and then I'll see if. So I'm going to try and record how this works here for this one. So you just kind of, yes, Nacho. There we go. So, and as I mentioned, they're made of ancient plastic. So be very, very careful when you're opening and closing that, because when those break, if those break, I shouldn't say when those break. Yes, Nacho. If those break, that's very bad. So don't break those. But so when you're loading this thing up with records, obviously, as I mentioned, they go there. The title cards sort of correspond with what's in there. So there's the numbers as they go down here, and they match up with the numbers that are written across here. For example, the first record is Glenn Frey, Harold Faltermeyer, The Heat Is On, a real classic. So that's number 100. And as you can see there, there's a 0. So this designates 1, 0, and the 0's there. So that's number 100, and it continues on, obviously through the range. So you would take the record. The A side always goes towards the left. So A side, B side. Yes, Nacho. So yeah, basically you would load it that way, continue on all the way through to the end. And when you're done, ever so gently close it. This is again probably going to be a two. Can I do it with one hand? Maybe. Oh boy. Well, we'll leave that open for now. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, just these little tabs go down, and just be super, super, super nice to them. And if you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. So, so that's that. Inside, there's, this would be a button for credits. You don't really need to use that. reject the record. This would be if, let's say that a record gets stuck, or if it's skipping, or if it falls off the, it falls out of the mechanism, or if there's something that goes wrong, you can hit that and that'll sort of bring everything back to 0, which is good. This would be, the mechanism stop switch isn't as critical on this. On certain Seeburgs, Seeburg always uses this kind of rack here. The carriage is in the front, so you would, hit the switch and get the actual mech moving. But you don't have to in this case because your mechanism is around back. Anyway, trust me, it's back there. So that's kind of it. This would start that mechanism moving. That would be if you had to perform any service on it. There it kind of goes there. But basically, if it'll do its thing and it'll go back and park itself. So really, these are things that you don't need to worry about. It's set to free play, so credits aren't an issue. Record reject. Really, technically, there's a switch on the back, which I will show you here. Can I see it? Where the heck is it? Oh, here it is. So, and also I'll show you the volume while we're here. So reject is here. So again, if something should go wrong, it gets stuck or it's skipping or whatever might happen, there's a little switch. I know it's hard to see, but there is a switch in there, just a momentary flick. And then right below it, obviously, is the volume. So, and I don't know, that's what sets the volume high or low. Obviously, it works like a volume knob. Nothing really to explain there. Yes, Nacho. Cool it, buddy. Cool it. Jeez. Ugh, you're such a weirdo. What else do I need to tell you about this? Really, that's about it. Yeah, no, that's basically how you load it, how you change the title cards. I can't really think of any other things that need to be gone over. Obviously, when you're selecting a record, you just punch in, if you want 100 to play, you punch in 100 and it'll play. And you can, rack up as many titles as you want. You can just keep punching in numbers and it'll store them in the memory and it'll eventually play them as it goes through. So yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. The only other thing, a little quirk of, this particular model. Inside here, here, it's probably easier to show you from the outside. So, the artwork on this, as I'd mentioned, it's seen better days. It's not terrible, but it's not mint. But it had to be removed to be cleaned, and in doing so, the old they held it in with it's sort of a foamy gaskety thing, which of course just was basically melted with time. So I've used the stuff that you would seal kind of around windows with or around doors. I've used that to kind of replicate what was in there to hold it up, and it's doing an okay job, but it's not as good as probably what was in there from the factory. And so if you get it and this artwork is a little crooked or whatever for any reason, you can just kind of reach in and adjust it. So, that's something to keep in mind that you might have to do. It might have to come up or down. And this little screw up here, if you have to straighten it out for whatever reason, just tighten it back down, and that'll secure the artwork kind of back to where it's supposed to be. And I suspect it might move during shipping, but beyond that, that's really it. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, give me a buzz, but there you go, buddy. You're good to go. We'll be palleting this thing up in the next day or so, and as soon as it's on the pallet, I will give you a buzz, and we'll get everything set up. All right, so there you go. Thanks.